of dads.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right. That is the Parliament of Papas. Hula hoo. Nothing? You're going to hula hoo back? No, it's hoodly hoo. Get it right. Hootily hoo.
Hoodly hoo.
Okay, now that might be canon. Now that might be. We go to a conjuration. Somebody's going to be like, hootily hoo. All right. Reconciling my likes versus audience likes. Joe, what do you got there? What'd you bring up there, buddy?
Yeah, I think you put this in there, but I mean, this is going to happen all the time, especially with what we're nerding out about. It's not going to be what everyone in our audience likes. Period. Not everyone likes Balatro, Kurt. I'm sorry to tell you, it's true.
That's just because they haven't played it.
You're like one of those people who I tell that I don't like mushrooms, and they're just like, you haven't tried my stuffed mushrooms. I'm like, I don't need to try your stuffed mushrooms. I've tried plenty of other people's stuffed mushrooms.
Stuffed mushrooms are trash.
So, okay. No, they're not. But secondly, that's not comparing the same thing. You can try a video game, and it's different than the last video game you played.
But yeah, so what's your hot take? What's something, you know what? What's something that you unabashedly like that most people hate?
Most people
Joe
hate.
Or just don't like in general.
Joe Ard.
Wow,
I
what a
like him.
jerk.
Most people hate him.
Very mean spirited. I see. I don't know about the most, but I'll say one that people run hot and cold on for me. Acapella music, and
okay,
specifically barbershop music. People get a little weird about it sometimes.
That's fair. Yeah. Get that. It's so weird. What about you, Joe?
Oh man, it makes me think of a lot of anime that I watch, and I spend a decent amount of time on Reddit, and my tastes are very, very, very different than what the anime subreddit likes. Because they do, there's people on there that they compile the week's episodes and they compare the number of, they have a bunch of different metrics, like how many likes it got, how many comments it got, things like that. And they rank, okay, these were the best shows this week. And I'm like, yeah, most of those I tried and dropped, or I didn't even bother trying because I read the synopsis and I'm like, no, I don't care for that. But a lot of people trash on isekai anime, and I'm a sucker for isekai.
Can you give me a definition for that? Because I've seen isekai thrown around in terms of like just anime in general.
Yeah, so most people would, the English term would be like portal fantasy. So where you're teleported to another world, either teleported to another world or you die and are reincarnated into another world, things like that.
Okay, so kind of multiverse type stuff, like yeah. Well, because one of the things that I had been watching and still have to finish is the Suicide Squad isekai.
Okay, yeah, I finished that one. It was pretty good.
I liked it so far, but I've seen isekai all over the place recently, and I wasn't quite sure what it referred to. So cool.
Now, Joe, can you use it in a sentence?
I like isekai.
All right, now you have a definition. It's using sentence. Can you spell it without looking at the screen?
Isekai.
I wouldn't know, so fair enough.
Yeah. I can use it in a sentence. Charles McFall isekai that we like to make bad jokes with.
How do you laugh like that's a surprise? Something in his mouth. I knew where he was going.
Oh, there's actually an isekai that's airing right now, second season of it, that I think you would like, Charles, called Shangri-La Frontier.
Okay.
What's it about, Charles?
Yeah.
Well, it's about the random gods who came down from Shangri-La to fight the Greek gods in a cowboy western setting in Nevada.
I had you kind of in there, cowboy western setting in Nevada. However, I think it's about an all girl singing group called the Shangri-Las, and the adventures that they have fighting crime in the West.
What was the name of the girl group in Feed Me Seymour? Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, it was the.
It's not the Shangri-Las, but it's
no, it's not
close.
something like that though.
Yeah. It just reminded me when you said that.
So, Shangri-La Frontier is the main character loves games that are trash. Like they're riddled with bugs, and he just loves it. And so it actually opens with him beating one of these trash games. And he's at the climax. He beat the final bad guy, and the princess is, singing his praises. And he jumps over and just starts wailing on her in the game because there's a glitch that during the cutscene you can do whatever you want. And apparently she's a horrible NPC that he hated the entire time, and so in the game he just is wailing on her. But even though he loves trash video games, he decides to try one of the top tier games called Shangri-La Frontier, and so it's him playing that game where if you've ever seen it, he's wearing a blue bird head and he's wearing shorts, and that's it. That's all he's wearing.
I might have seen that in a meme somewhere.
Probably. So anyway, yeah, there's going to be plenty of people that would hate Shangri-La Frontier, even if just for the sole reason that it's an isekai, because a lot of the anime community talk real bad about isekai.
I would say, honestly, I'm gonna keep my answer kind of short on this one. Everything you will find,
he hates everything.
No, it says my likes versus audience likes, but you will find everything that you like. You will find somebody who doesn't like it, and I'm gonna take it a slightly different direction into digital media creation. In the early days of bear calling, I would actually put out. I got a little bit of a following, had people on Facebook. That's where we were at the time. And I put out, hey, what do you guys want to hear about tonight? And I had somebody wisely DM me. It's like, look, man, we listen to it because you're entertaining, because of this, because of that, whatever that you do. Don't just do what people want to do. Then you'll never be funny. You'll never have fun. It won't be good. And that's what I took to heart. So I never actually, listen to Pokemon Go podcast. I never actually care what the audience likes when I'm doing my thing, because I've learned to enjoy it myself. And those who enjoy it, just like you were talking about with your isekai, Joe, you find the right group, you find the right panel at a place like Conjuration, and you will just all be gushing over all these different isekais that are out there. I barely remember that as a Portal, anime.
Portal Fantasy?
Yeah, that. So everything that you like, you'll find somebody like it. Now, the real question is, how do you handle it? And I tend to step back when somebody's like, oh, that's dumb, or oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, cool. I like it. I don't really care what you think.
You know what's cool is,
get there.
For guys like us that do a show and we talk about things that we're nerding out about, I think part of the appeal, and because I find this when I'm listening to other podcasts too, part of the appeal is, even if I'm not into that subject matter, if I know that the passion of the people that are talking about it is there, then I find that way more compelling. Right?
Yeah, I've listened to so many different podcasts that I don't care about the topic, but the people loved the topic.
Yep. And it's really, really compelling to listen to them talk about it. Even though you may not care.
I love that you mentioned that. I've mentioned this podcast a couple of times on the show, Intentionally Blank, but they did an episode about the Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Yep. And how they absolutely loved it. They were comparing it to the Spider-Verse the entire time. And so I was like, you know what? I'll give it a try. And it was actually a lot of fun. I watched it with my boys, and they absolutely loved it. They were loving every moment of it.
Compared it to necessarily.
I think it's mostly the aesthetic. that they were comparing it to.
Sure. Okay. All right. I can get that.
So, yeah.
But yeah, you'll find for everybody who likes what you do, you'll find another person who hates it. You know, it's the reverse. I love the statement when somebody's trying to tell you something you should do or that they love that you won't like, for Joe Mushrooms or whatever. It's like, oh, no. I love that for you. That's such a great statement. And every once in a while, a lot of times I'll say, yeah, no, whatever, sure, I like what I like. I don't care. Sometimes like, oh, I hate that you're so miserable. You don't like anything, Bubba. That's okay. Look at me, I'm happy. Now move along. But yeah, I mean, Phil the demon that we don't even give a crap about. He barely listens. He won't even fork up 50 cents, Joe, to get in our Patreon, patreon.com/wise_n_nerdy, to get not just to get the show early so you can have it at market, to get the full 4 freaking hours that we do behind the scenes. No, he's like, oh, when you get, he said this to me the other day. Oh yeah, when you get around to editing it, and I'll get on a Saturday, like, no, buddy, I edit it immediately. You have to wait because you're a trash panda. That's it. He hates that we go on for 20 minutes about the anyways, but that's the thing. You can like my energy. I can like Kurt's energy, whatever, not care about what he's talking about, but go, oh, okay, now I'm starting to figure out if you like this and recommend it, it's not going to be for me because I like other things. And that's a good balance. And I learned that reading the GameStop magazine, Kurt, back in the day.
Yeah.
There'd be they had this specific article, there'd be a pro and a con. It had 2 editors. And on every topic, I don't remember his last name, it's Chris something, but on every topic, I didn't like his take. Like if I played the game and I loved it and he hated it, I was like, but I loved it. Everything you hated about it, I loved. And that's when I learned, okay, cool. So I liked his writing. He's very well thought out. He was not judgmental. So, okay, cool. Now I'll read your article and go, if you love that game, it's not going to be for me. And that's all really entertainment is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And some entertainment areas or just areas of nerddom, what's really striking to me sometimes is the gatekeeping that happens.
Yeah.
Which, and part of it is like the isekai thing in Reddit. There's and this is a prejudice on my side, so I will fully admit this. But when it comes to Reddit and things like that, it almost feels like they like what they like, not because they actually like it, but now that's the identity of that Reddit.
They've absorbed the identity of the subreddit.
And so no matter whether they actually like it or not, it's like, what do you mean you don't like Speed Racer? Again, I'm going old school, but it feels a little weird to me sometimes where it doesn't feel genuine. Like if
they get stuck in an echo chamber and it echoes so much that they're like, these are my thoughts now.
Right. And then you talk to an individual and they go, well, I haven't actually seen it yet, but
but it's bad. So bad.
Yeah.
Roll that dice.
Honestly, I fell out of love with the Star Wars franchise because of the caustic nature of the fan base.
I believe that.
And I mean, and you could argue writing and other stuff, but the caustic nature pushed me further to go, it's just not for me.